Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. All right, this should be an interesting match. We have Flash in the top right, and in the bottom right we have Motive. This is hot off the presses. Flash just played Motive a couple times about an hour ago from when I'm recording this. So that's kind of cool. They've played before on the ladder. Motive has been the top-ranked Protoss on the ladder in general lately. He's in really superb shape. I would say out of all the people that haven't made ASL yet, he's my #1 pick to make it this coming season. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing if he's able to do that. They did play some games like maybe 3 weeks ago or something like that. And I believe Motive ended up winning the majority of those. There were so many Flash games coming out at that time. I actually did not end up casting those. But I think Motive ended up taking down Flash there. Of course, for those of you who are, or rather have been going to this channel for a long time, Motive, the most recent CNSL champion, taking out Scan there in the finals. Absolutely phenomenal tournament. I do suggest people go check that out if you have not watched CNSL Season 7. It was awesome, awesome, awesome. Of course, as I mentioned before, Season 8 is coming! And I'm excited about that. Because of you guys and your support, we are like just doing a big sponsorship basically for it. In fact, I think we doubled the sponsorship money that we sent for that tournament this time. So yeah, ArtosisCasts is an official sponsor of the upcoming CNSL season, and very, very excited about that. That's going to be an awesome change of pace. And yeah, hopefully that gets started pretty soon. Anyways, taking a look here, we're on Polypoid, and we have, Motive obviously here in the bottom right, and Flash going for a gasless expansion. He's been doing a lot of factory expansions lately, right? And everyone's keeping track of what Flash is doing. That's almost a nice thing. You'd think that that would be annoying, but Flash knows exactly how to change his builds. Notice there's no Zealot on the way. So he was doing lots of gasless. Everyone started making Zealots against him. He went into factory expands. No one's making Zealots against him. And here he is back to gasless expand. No Zealot, right? Like he's jumping back and forth. And this is how you influence the metagame. It's important. It's important. Like, that's especially when you start getting to high levels, like pro gamer levels, you can have a big impact just by, I mention it a lot of times, but I think people don't really realize how serious I am. That like if there's too many wall-ins, do 4 pulls, right? Everyone's walling in. Just look at it statistically. It's like, oh, okay, 4 pull becomes like this winning strat, and it actually just makes them dial back the number of wall-ins. If everyone's going double racks in the center, go 9 pull, right? If everyone's going gateway expand, maybe you want to open an overpool, right, and make them think twice about sending those Zealots across the map. There's all sorts of different ways to do it, and it's just like the metagame generally changes based on like feeling overall. Like, okay, is the win rate of this build going down? Is everyone just you're playing 10 of the same matchup in a day? Oh, 8 of them all kind of did the same similar thing. Okay, well we gotta change what we're doing here. Anyways, just a brief explanation of what's going on with these factory expands and everything. Now. Motive getting range. He has his Nexus started, but the command center is basically finished by the time he gets it started. The one factory on the way for Flash. And as far as Motive goes here, he's going to have range, so he definitely needs to put pressure onto the bunker, but he's only made a couple Dragoons. The Robo gets started. Okay. Flash's build just looks very good here. He adds a second factory. He's just, he's pretty well ahead at this moment, right? Like the range finishing, like range is good, and you want to get range, but when you go for range like this, then you kind of figure out what's going on a little bit late, and your build is not optimized towards getting 4 goons on their bunker. It's like, okay, range is done. We'll walk up and attack. This is almost not even worth it, showing him that you have range. You have range in 1 goon. Flash is going to get pounds of information out of this hitting there, right? If you don't show range at all, he's much more likely to throw a turret down right away. In fact, he might do anyways. He is making that engineering bay very early, right? In fact, that engineering bay is almost lined up for the fastest ET. But he did get some scouting done, so he knows it's not the fastest DT. Like, basically, fastest DT coming out of someone's main base, you start the eBay at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Very easy number to remember, I know. And that's going to go ahead and get you a turret up before the DT gets to your base. He does put an anti-DT turret here, so he's not entirely sure of what's going on. And it's just safe anyways. It's stupid not to put one down. Now, this is very purposeful. You can't select the siege tank if it's under the barracks. Right? And of course, he can't always land it. That could end up trapping goons that chase too much or something like that as well. Siege mode is still on the way. We have an armory coming up here for Flash, and there's that siege mode. So he's going to force us back. Okay, let's take a look at what Motive is up to. Observatory. Second observer, no shuttle. So he's going to be going into a third base quickly. It looks like this is where he wants a third base. Also, he has a pylon here. This is specifically watching for incoming dropships. Okay, so the Nexus gets started, and you can see no secondary gas or anything like that. Now, will he go Reaver after this is the big question. Flash, in the meantime, is going speed and mines. We'll see exactly how many Vultures he makes, right? Because he made one tank with siege mode. Armory, he's getting his turrets up. I bet you goes back into tanks here. Maybe even a Goliath. Tries to slip these out without the speed upgrade. And he does. Not a problem. By the way, Motive starts that shuttle. No big surprise. These 4 Vultures are mostly for intel here. And yeah, he does go back into siege tanks. This seems to be the number that Flash is settling on for Vultures. With whatever opener he's doing lately, he's liking 4 Vultures with speed and mines. And 4 is a great number. Like, 4 can crush a Dragoon. It gives you tons of mines, right? 12 mines that you can place wherever you want. Ooh, Motive. Ooh, and he does get hit by one. The other one he did kind of luckily blow up before it hit there. But this will give him a lot of intel, right? You can't always get ComSat. You can't always have a dropship flying around for intel. You can't always slip in an SCV. So just speed vultures running around and checking the edges of the Protoss base tell a lot, right? And sometimes you can get in and get probes. Who knows? Maybe he'll dart these in and end up killing a bunch of probes at some point. Lays a few defensive mines here, right? He's got kind of one here, some here to make sure that there's not going to be an attack that comes up this way and goes to his high ground. Yeah, sets up a siege location right here. That's interesting, right? These and this go together. So, like, this is guarding this entrance, and these are guarding anywhere that Motive would attack from this direction. There's no way he would go this way, up here, around like that. That would be like a map hacker-esque. That doesn't even make sense. It takes so long, right? So, like, he doesn't even care. It's not about the mines catching the goons. It's more about him seeing them getting taken off, like with a observer and everything. Okay, so looks like a 4th base getting ready to be set up. We have speed for shuttles on the way, Citadel as well as Forge. We have the Reaver coming out. So pretty standard stuff from Motive, and he'll probably go up to 6 gate, right? Might even go more, we'll see. But yeah, that is 6 gate right now that he's getting up to. And he is clearing some of these mines, so now Flash, Flash is updating his mental map of where things are. Vultures finally do end up running in. These are those first 4 Vultures, right? So, like, not only have they done a ton of intel and kind of kept him in the know and kind of in the safety zone, he runs up and actually kills a fair amount of probes. What was that, 5-6 probes? Not a terrible trade at all. Right now, he is up on 6 factory. He's got his +1. Ooh, he actually got a big volley on one of those Reavers. A little bit surprisingly there from Motive. Definitely needs better hits than that. Flash continuing to push forward, leapfrogging his tanks a bit. Pops a Reaver. That Reaver didn't even get a shot off. Motive a little bit off on his control, on his placement, but you can see that Flash is bringing buildings. I know that you guys are going to love this. A lot of people say, why don't you build more buildings and bring with the attacks? And my answer generally is, I think one day will be good enough to know when and where to do that. But you can see Flash here bringing these. This is super, super purposeful. You can't attack move in with your Dragoons. And look at this. He's got this set up. Dude. Perfect defense. And leapfrog pushing down here so quickly with siege mode. He's got 2 Goliaths just to make sure the shuttle can't come up and destroy him. And the floating buildings like screw up Dragoon AI and give him that vision that he needs. Holy crap. Buildings, guys. The 4th mech unit. Floating buildings. Sick play. Like, pretty straightforward. And I know a lot of people that just watch StarCraft and are StarCraft fans and stuff. They talk about this, and yeah, like I definitely, I feel like I get asked it really a lot about those floating buildings. You can see they were definitely useful here. They definitely were useful, and they do make a difference. They haven't tanked a ton of damage. They have taken some. They haven't tanked a ton, but it screws up those attacks. It keeps massive vision for him, right? He doesn't have to sacrifice units. Like, he can take a few hits and pull them back. Not a big deal. Setting up his siege tanks now. He's got this ridiculous high ground position. Lots of turrets going up. Lots of mines. There's quite a few speed zealots. Look at this. He's got like 2 tanks on the high ground and lays tons of mines and turrets. There's no way to see in here and know what's happening. If he were to attack with this army up here, it would get decimated. Whereas if the tanks were all here, it would actually probably be a pretty even trade. So a really good setup there by Flash. Looks like a Vulture somehow got in here. Continuing to push forward. Motive coming up for a massive counterattack. Flash just now realizing he's going to run back with these units, get up onto his high ground. This is the strongest way to hold here will probably be sieging, keeping all his Vultures on high ground, and maybe drilling his SCVs up. Because that is a strong army compared to what Flash has back there. But if he can kill this base while this is happening, he'll still be probably ahead, I would say. So still pushing forward. Here comes this attack, right? He's got these Vultures. He's going to want to target siege tanks. Yeah, Motive doesn't want any part of that. Turns around. Flash is controlling this game from A to Z. Just ridiculous. Really, really, really strong play here from Flash. All right, Motive coming in for a flank. Now, he actually has enough to clear this. Huge mine drags coming in. And he will end up clearing this. He will clear this whole area. But did he take too much damage? One thing to note is that Flash does not have a 3rd command center. Okay, that's like important. He just does not have that. So there are technically 3 bases here, but Motive hasn't been mining from that one for a bit, and his probe count is terrible at 41. So like, he's got less than 2 base economy, really. He's gonna GG. Okay, I'm not super surprised about the GG. Like, Flash definitely outdid him. So I just want to mention a couple things about the way that Flash did this game. First off, obviously he got an advantage with the speed of his command center. The 1-tank siege mode into 4 Vultures with speed and mines back into the siege tanks is a critical move from Flash, where he's gathering a lot of intel. He went up with his very smooth macro into the 6 factory. The way that he set up out here, right? Whenever you're going to do like a quick factory push, you want a forward position set up so you can very quickly move. And he did that. And bringing both the buildings, I think, was a very important thing that we saw this game. Like, I don't think, just to make this clear, I don't think bringing the buildings is going to become like some meta standard thing. Maybe like it's something that I do think it's eventually going to evolve, right? Like, they aren't that expensive and they tank like 1,000 damage sometimes, right? But I could see it being used more for something like a very aggressive 6 factory play, right? Like, you normally need a building floating somewhere like this so you can see shuttles coming in, because otherwise you see it when the Reaver drops here, and that's going to oftentimes be too slow for Terran to react. So the floating buildings have a lot of uses, but when you're keeping so much pressure on, you know the Reaver has to play defensively, it makes sense. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I bet you did with the buildings. That was a cool one. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.